warroomsports.com. Get that mobile app.
Let's go. Sports fans, especially football fans, welcome to this episode of Field Vision brought to you by War Room Sports in conjunction with the Sports Kings, who are not here, probably because they're scared to talk about my Broncos versus those Lions coming up. Andy, you shook? Anyway, at the round table this evening, I got my brother B. Austin. What's up, beloved?
Hey, yo, shout out to Yogi Berra.
Yeah, R.I.P. Yogi Berra.
Rest in power.
Fred Purdue, what's going on?
Ain't over till it's over.
Okay, little Patriots, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to my beloved, the Papel, who's here, coming here to Philadelphia. You know what I'm saying? I'm bringing out my new line of clothes called Papel Wear. We all going to start dressing like the Papel himself. Keep it a bean anyway. Listen, man, a lot of craziness going on in football. In this episode of Field Vision, there is, you know, we're going to pick some games at the end of the show, but there's one topic that we have to address. It'll probably take up the whole show. But coming into this season, there were several teams who were, you know, slated to be playoff teams as well as Super Bowl contenders, and a lot of them are 0-2.
A lot of them are pretenders.
So this is what I want to talk about this particular show. We're going to go in order. We're going to talk about the Eagles, Colts, Ravens, and Seahawks. You know, I just want you guys brief analysis. You don't got to really go in. But I definitely want to start with the Philadelphia Eagles. B. Austin is a resident Eagles fan. I want to get your perspective on what's happened thus far because anyone who watches Field Vision knows B. Austin picked the Eagles to go to the NFC Championship.
And you will remind them.
I'm going to remind them. But also, I just wanted to point out that I believe it's something personal with B. Austin. Anytime he picks his team to do well, they stink. And when he picks them to stink, they kind of spite him and do well. So I think it might be something personal. But B. Austin, what do you think about what's going on with your beloved Philadelphia Eagles and Chip Kelly?
I placed this squarely at the feet of one Chipper Kelly. You know, sure, the players have to play. And so there's always responsibility and culpability on the parts of the grown men who are paid hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to go out there and perform. But let me just say this, man. Chip Kelly, like many egomaniacal head coaches of future, past, and present, you believe in your system. You believe wholeheartedly in your system. Big mistake. You got rid of – I'm not mad at Deshaun Jackson. He had to go, not a problem. Believe it or not, my favorite, most favorite Eagle, LaShawn McCoy, not mad at that either. Not mad at that either. What I am mad at is the offensive line because unlike most fans, you know, we do this. And so we realize that the most important people on any football team are the fat guys. They make it happen.
Fat guys win championships.
And our fat guys for the Philadelphia Eagles on offense aren't looking too tough. You got rid of two all-pro guys who were, granted, in their early 30s. So the argument is that age is a factor in this versus risk-reward. Benefit analysis was performed. These guys won a lot of money. They're up in age. But you didn't replace them with talent for talent. You didn't go out and work to get younger.
Now, hold on 1 second. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question while you're on that. I haven't completely broken down the film, but I know some people who have, and just listening to what they're saying, even with the guys you brought in, people are saying that the coaches aren't putting them in the best position to win, like in terms of their schemes and what they're calling.
Yeah.
That includes the offensive line as well as DeMarco Murray. Do you see any of that?
That's true. That's true. We're going to get to DeMarco Murray. The issue with DeMarco Murray is that he's an overrated back. But he's not a bad running back. He's just overrated. And so the system, a great running back and a great player, period, you can put them in any system. They will adapt and they will eventually thrive because they are great. DeMarco Murray is just good. We're not talking about Trent Richardson. He's not a bum. He's good. But he is a north-south, A-gap, B-gap, one-cut runner. We are running toss sweeps. We're running it to the edges. DeMarco Murray is a tractor trailer, which means when he gets to the corner, he's got to turn his rig, and then his trailer has to follow. He's not a quick twitch guy. He's not a stick the foot in the dirt guy with some wiggle. He don't have the wiggle. He don't have this. This is not happening for DeMarco Murray. So now when we're running, you have defensive linemen getting penetration on on whack offensive linemen. We're running to the corner to the outside. Penetration has already happened, and we got a guy that can run really, really fast to the corner, and then he has to decelerate, gear it down, shift down to second to make a turn. And by that time, the NFL linebackers and DNs are there like, hi, DeMarco, you're trash. And he gets his mouth smacked in. Why? Because, one, we're not blocking for him properly, and two, it's not a running scheme that's suitable for him. So when we hand him the ball, they already know what's going down. We already know what it is. We already know. All
right, last question. Last question before Fred gets to go. No, last question for you before we let Fred, give his opinion of the Eagles, and that is the quarterback,
yes.
Samuel Bradford. What's your opinion of him and what he's done thus far?
Sam Bradford, if you keep him upright and you keep him clean, has all the talents and skill sets to be an NFL quarterback. But similar to what I said about DeMarco Murray, he's not a great. And what I mean by that, I'll compare him and contrast him to his predecessor, Nick Foles. Now, Nick Foles is by no means great. But the difference is when faced with adversity, salute to Dr. Akil Bayon, a member of War Room Sports, who would talk about the basal ganglia and its impact on brain function. There are human beings, when faced with pressure, they actually perform better. Nick Foles would stink it up in the first half, and then he would go and he would look in the mirror and say, yo, I'm Nick Foles. I'm Nick effing Foles.
You just described Tim Tebow, man.
He would come out in the second half, and he would ball like he just watched a Rudy and a Joe Montana tape, and he would ball out. Sam Bradford gets hit once, gets hit twice, and his brain is done because he doesn't have the athleticism to move around in the pocket. I use Tony Romo as a great example of this. Not that Tony Romo is some super athletic running quarterback, but Tony had the wit, slide to the left, slide to the right.
Mobility in the pocket.
Jump up, cha-cha one time, two-step to the left. He would get his cha-cha slide on, and he would make it happen.
Turn it up.
Yo, my man Sam Bradford doesn't have a cha-cha slide. So when he gets hit, it's problems. And he has to be
when
kept
you analyze
clean.
quarterbacks, you have a level like on Madden. Like, what's his level of cha-cha slide?
Cha-cha slide.
All right, well, listen.
Aaron Rodgers has an amazing cha-cha slide. You forget that Aaron Rodgers ran a 4.6, 4.65 40 and really had wheels because he don't run. He just used that to buy time and get open. Sam Bradford has to stand still to be able to dominate. You give him time.
Fred,
you saw in the second half of the Atlanta game, he picked them apart. But that's only when given time, and situations have to be ideal. Well, guess what, Chip Kelly? In the NFL, situations are rarely ideal. You got a guy who's getting hit, and he's shell-shocked.
All right, listen, Fred, before I let you go, I just want you to know, Fred, from now on, when you break down quarterbacks coming into NFL, we want to see what their cha-cha slide rating is. Okay. Now, I'll be very brief talking about what's going on with the Eagles. In the words of the great prophet, one Michael Tyson, everybody has a plan until they get hit. And when Sam Bradford gets hit, he's a different player. The one thing the Eagles have going for them, I just want to put this out there, is that their division stinks. Tony Romo is out. Des Bryant is out. So the Cowboys, we don't know how they're going to respond to that. The Giants stink, and the Washington racial slurs stink. So the Eagles technically still have the ability to come back and win this division. I'm still going to hold out hope that they can do so. What's the scariest thing to me is, and as I mentioned on the World's Greatest Podcast, is I've actually talked to people who are in their
culture,
in there with the team, and we always talk about the culture of a team and the culture of this. And I've heard from some inside sources that the culture has changed to one of fear, where a lot of guys are doing exactly what Chip Kelly says. Now, I don't mean fear as in, hey, I'm scared of Chip Kelly, but you have to understand they're playing for their jobs, and they saw what Chip Kelly has done with Deshaun Jackson. They saw what Chip Kelly has done with LaShawn McCoy. So guys don't feel free to just play their game. They want to
with the Evan Mathis.
Yeah, they want to do exactly what Chip Kelly says, is follow his routine, and they don't get to actually play their game of freestyle, so to speak. So I think that's a little scary. I'm hoping they can get it together. I'm hoping that Chip knows what he's doing, because I know that Chip is not a dumb guy. So I think if he continues to see this, then he'll have to make adjustments, whether he's stubborn enough not to, or whether he's because coaches change. You got to admit that the great coaches change. I'm gonna give.
It takes longer than a half a season, though.
It does. I'm gonna give you an example of Fred's coach, who, even though we talk trash about the Patriots, no one will ever say that Belichick isn't one of the greatest coaches to ever come through the league. But people forget.
At least you admitted that much.
No, people forget about his time in Cleveland, but he's been on record as saying that his time in Cleveland taught him what he needed to do when he got another opportunity. So I'm hoping that Chip Kelly doesn't run things into the ground, go to another team, and then learn how he has to adjust. I'm hoping it doesn't get there. But,
hold on, Jimmy. Let me interject. As an Eagles fan, not an analyst, here on the War Room Sports Podcast Network or on War Room Sports TV, but just as an Eagles fan, I hear you, and you're right. But my fandom don't got time for that, man.
You ain't got. I get you.
Ain't got time for him.
He said he ain't got time today, cuz.
I ain't got time, man.
Yo, but listen though. So that's where I'm at with the Eagles. I think they still have an opportunity. They doing. There's a lot of things wrong, and that last game was probably the worst football game I've ever watched. The only thing that made that game fun was literally I was in a group chat with B. Austin and my brother PJ, and they were slandering the Eagles, which is funnier than the actual game. But let's get to Fred Perdue. Fred Perdue, what is your analysis of the Eagles thus far? Because there's 3 other teams we got to get to, but let's talk about the Eagles.
First off, Coach Herm Edwards, great job. I just need you in that locker room to give them that speech. Hold that till next week. Actually, hold that till Sunday. Show up in the Eagles locker room, you might get a win. 2, DeMarco Murray, you were spot on. He's a downhill runner. They don't really do what he needs to do.
We don't run. We don't play downhill. We play east to west, side to side, slide.
The problem with that offense is there is no more Shady McCoy who can get to the edge. Darren Sproles is an every down back. LaMichael James and the rest of those guys are no longer at Oregon, and this isn't the Pac-12 where you can run around Stanford, USC, and Arizona State and the rest of those boys. You can't do that either. Sam Bradford, this isn't the Big 12 where you're running away from Texas. Your knees are gone. Your shoulder's also gone, too. You've already had a shoulder injury way back when. So you take another hit, you may be in the ICU. V. Austin, you sound like...
Fred, not to cut you off. Not to cut you off, Fred, but it sounds to me like you're saying that basically this isn't college. Chip is still coaching for college.
Basically.
That's what it sounds like.
Chip, just watching them these last couple of weeks, their offense looks essentially like my high school offense that I run. And I'm not joking. It looks very, very similar. Toss left, toss right, zone left, zone right, curl flat, go route. We're going to go back to this. We're going to put 2 backs in the backfield. One's going to block the end. We're going to put another back, put them in a zone right up the middle. If there's nothing up the middle, hit the outside. I mean, it's very, very basic.
Wow, that's interesting.
And when all else fails, take a sack, Sam. Instead of just taking that sack, fall down. This is not Oklahoma where you have DeMarco Murray and Jermaine Gresham and Jalen Saunders. Well, I'm sorry, not Jalen Saunders. Ryan Broyles.
Didn't I just say that to me on the greatest podcast in the world? Yo, your man Sam Bradford looks like Peyton Manning, and Peyton Manning is 50. He just curls up. No, I'm good.
I mean,
okay, no. Sack.
Sam used to be a little mobile, but he's not mobile anymore. And the thing about Chip is you have to have talent. This isn't Oregon where you can just take any name and put them in the backfield and say, oh, we're going to beat you with speed. Oh, we're going to recruit from Texas, Florida, and California, and although we're in Oregon, somehow we're going to get all these guys and we're just going to throw them out there. Basic system, you don't have to think. We're going to hold up our cue cards and we're going to have Reese Davis and Lee Corso and all of those guys on the card, and you don't have to decipher any kind of an offense.
Fred, he believes that his system trumps NFL talent. He believes that his system will trump.
You can't get rid of a top 20 running back, a top 20 receiver, a top 5 running back, a top. I won't. Nick Foles is a top 20 quarterback. You can't get rid of him. You can't get rid of a pretty good 2 guards. Expect Jason Peters to be Jake Fisher in college, where he's just running around the edge, blowing guys up. You can't expect your defense, who can't stay off the field, because you're 3 and out every time, because your defense is on the field 80% of the time, because you're running this no huddle up tempo offense where you're on the field less than 2 minutes every drive.
All right, so Fred, I get your point. To make a long story short, you're saying this system will not work in the pros at all.
It won't work in the pros, and he won't find another NFL team. Players won't play for him. The next team won't play for him.
Wow.
Chip,
Fred took it a step further, man.
Chip, please come to Miami. Please. I'm begging. Please.
All right, man. Listen, Fred.
B. Austin, you sound
enough begging right now.
B. Austin sounds like I do on Saturdays when I'm complaining about Al Golden. I will say that much.
All right, enough begging, man. Let's go to the next team, which is the Colts, who are also supposed to be a contender. They're now 0-2. I got the first pick in my fantasy draft, and of course, I took the god at quarterback.
Oh no!
And he is killing me. Is killing me. Well, no, Fred. Listen.
Let's take a quarterback first. Pause.
Because listen, Fred, I've been playing fantasy football. I've been playing fantasy football before you were born, and you have to understand that leagues are a little different. Every league has different rules and different statistics, and some are point per reception, some are point per completion. So you have to take all that into account. Anyway, with all that being said, listen, man, the Colts are 0-2. I'll give you my quick opinion of the Colts, which is this. They're struggling on the offensive line. B. Austin talked about this in our podcast, just how bad their offensive line is playing. Their timing is way off. Now, I know they have some new pieces. Andre Johnson, have a new running back or whatever.
Francis M.H. Gore.
Yeah, Francis M.H. Gore. They have a lot of new pieces, but their timing is off. Their offensive line is playing dreadful. But 2 things. They started 0-2 last year. They ended up in the AFC Championship. So all hope is not lost. Another thing is, coming into the season, on paper, when I looked at the Jets and the Bills, I was like, oh, it looks like two wins. Now, both the Jets and Bills, we knew they would improve, but oh my God, that Jets defense looks good.
Defensively, the Jets.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of the Jets. I'm not afraid of the Bills.
Now the Bills defense looks good. We knew they would play for Rex Ryan, and I got to keep it a beam. My man Tyrod Taylor, who has one of the greatest nicknames, they call him because he's a mobile quarterback. They call him T-Mobile. Yeah, so my man T-Mobile went up.
Reception wasn't good. That reception wasn't good.
No, it wasn't. But what I'm saying is, for a guy that's like, he's had a starting job, he's played 2 games, he hasn't looked that bad. I mean, he hasn't, looked sort of like your guy.
You mentioned the Jets. Ryan Fitzpatrick hasn't been bad at all. That defense.
Oh no, and he hasn't. But we're talking about the Colts now. But all I'm saying is, Ryan Fitzpatrick doesn't want to give that job away. So the Jets looked a lot better than I thought they would. They're 0-2, but I don't think the Colts are out of it either, for the same reason as the Eagles. If you look at their division, Jacksonville is in first place right now. Like
Jacksonville isn't. They're a young team,
they're a young team. Their coach is coaching them up. They're doing well. But do you really believe they're going to win a division? Do you really believe they're ready?
Not right
this
now.
Year. Next year, and I think next year and the year after, it might be their division. Like, Yeldon is an amazing athlete.
TJ Yeldon from Alabama.
But all I'm saying is this, Fred. Getting back to the Colts, because we're talking about the Colts, I think they still have an opportunity. Houston, they're not looking good at all. And so then we got Tennessee. So I think that the Colts still can win that division. I'm not giving up hope on them, but they have to get their timing together. And their linemen, as B. Austin mentioned, it's all about the fat guys. They got to play better. They got to play better on both sides. Offensive and defensive line is not playing well. Fred, I'll let you go next. What do you think about the Colts?
Andrew Luck has looked like a shell of himself. The turnovers aren't so much of a problem because he's run a little bit more than normal. So he's taken a little bit more punishment. But some of these blunders as far as throwing the football is just inexcusable for as good as he. And I understand that he's throwing the ball a lot more than most quarterbacks in his position because he doesn't have the offensive line. But they need to get back to doing what they did early on last year. Run the football, be a little bit more physical, stop trying to be cute. Get the ball out of Andrew Luck's hands. Let him play point guard. Just dink and dunk your way down the field. Take the Patriot approach, and I'm not just saying it because I am a Patriots fan. It works. When Brady got the ball out of his hands a lot more over the last couple of years, yeah, it's dink and dunk down the field, but you improve his accuracy. You force him to improve his accuracy. You force him to make quick decisions. You keep the defense on the field, on their toes. And because the running game is going to be there, it's going to open up. Frank Gore will get his touches, and the rest of those guys like Kobe Fleener, Philip Dorsett over the top. Andre Johnson won't have to do much more than he's capable of. You don't have Reggie Wayne anymore to be a possession guy. You got to find that guy.
How about Reggie Wayne?
It's nice. Like Fred, my nephew Fred and Jimmy kind of covered everything that I would really say about the Colts. I don't think you sound the alarm with them because fundamentally, I don't think they're really flawed offensively. I think the issue is that if you want to point at a flaw, it's their offensive line.
It is the interior. The interior.
But when has their offensive line been good since Andrew Luck?
Yeah, that's true. That's
it's
true.
Never good. So he knows how to play under duress, which they have to change fast if they want to have him last long and have a great career. But
that's what she said.
I think he can play. I think he can adjust, and the tweaks in the passing game are pretty simple. T.Y. Hilton. You can't run 20, 30 yards down the field and pattern.
Yo, why he always trying to?
No, I'm not pooping on him.
I'm not either, but I agree with what you're saying. Like, yo, my man, he don't believe in nothing else. He trying to take it deep every play.
Yeah, you gotta treat him like a Julian Edelman.
He's improved as a route runner, so he doesn't have to just burn you deep because he can diversify his game now. Because as much as I hate to admit it, because I don't think he got hands, his route running is actually nice. Like, he's one of the better route runners in the league.
That ain't hard to play, but still.
Yeah, true. You shorten the routes up for him. You get a quicker dink and dunk passing attack, much as Fred said. You utilize Frank White in a better way. The problem with Frank White, man, is he still has it in the tank, but he's still 32 years old. So it's kind of like, do you take 25 carries no more? Yeah, do you take the pressure off of Andrew Luck by feeding him 25 to 30 a game, understanding that that's going to lead to an injury by week 11, or do you find that backup on the bench who can spell him some? I don't know if they have that. So the answer is a short passing attack with some play action mixed in to go more shotgun. That's the answer on offense. More shotgun, more shotgun spread. Indianapolis will sort itself out. Now the other question besides the O-line, their defense didn't get better. So all this that we're talking about is good, and they definitely are a playoff team in my estimation, but they're a pretender. They're a pretender because at the end of the day,
are they Houston from a few years ago?
Huh?
Are they Houston from a few years ago? They just win the division and they make it in, or are they?
No, I think I give them one game. I give them a game. I give them a game. Depending on their seeding, maybe they do make it to the chip. I see the potential there. I don't see them coming out though. I don't see them coming out just because they're gonna get exposed defensively. They didn't invest money on the defensive side of the ball, and they didn't invest money on their O-line, and it's gonna bite them in the tail later on. But I think they'll get it on track, and you'll see a 10-6 team. You'll see a 10-6 team, and you'll see some wins.
All right, well, let's move on, Fred. I'm gonna start with you with this team. Let's talk about the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens are also 0-2. It's another one of those things where you look at their division. The Steelers' defense is suspect. Shout out to Jim Ricalto, who thinks the Steelers do no wrong at all. But their defense
except when they lose in week 1.
That don't even stop him from talking trash. But with that being said, I'm just saying the Steelers' defense is not looking like the defense of old. Their offense is tough. You got the Cleveland Browns. I mean, so my thing is, where does Baltimore sit right now? Again, we're early in the season. There's only 2 games. But what do you think about the Ravens?
I still have faith in the Ravens. lost a game against the Raiders that no one expected the Raiders to be this good, this fast. Offensively, Derek Carr's done a good job, but if you played that game 10 times, do you really think they're going to win even half of those? I still believe in Harbaugh. I believe in Flacco. They gotta find a receiver other than Steve Smith, because if you're gonna be using him on kick returns, punt returns as a receiver,
I use those exact words on our podcast, and it's funny because I use those exact. I say they need a weapon. They need a weapon.
Why is Steve Smith returning punts in the last year of his career? Why would he even agree to the fact that he agreed to that tells you how crazy he is. He's a nut. Like, he's a nut to even take that on. Like, you're damn near 40 and you're returning punch. You a nut. Like, you
defensively.
Isn't Reggie Wayne still out there, by the way?
Reggie Wayne is out there, but do you want two old receivers at this point?
I get your point, but what they're looking like, they may want to bring Jerry Rice back. Like, their receiving core is looking sus.
I mean, Rashard Perriman is looking to come back at least very soon, but then on defense, you don't have that dominator like we said last week. You don't have Terrell Suggs now, so that's going to be a big time.
Like I said last week.
We don't have Terrell Suggs anymore right now, so at least for the foreseeable future. Your secondary is going to have to cover longer. Jimmy Smith's he's a good corner, but I'm not really saying I want him covering a guy 6-7 seconds. Their safety position is suspect. Linebacker in the middle is okay. But there's no one out there that says, man, I'm afraid of that guy. There's no more Ray Lewis. There's no more Ed Reed. Now there's no Terrell Suggs. So only person you're really worried about is C.J. Mosley patrolling the middle. Are you really afraid of that defense? Probably not. Are you afraid of that running game? Probably not. They have a good offensive line. It doesn't matter when you can't get any receivers open. Joe Flacco is consistent, but at the same time, if he doesn't have anyone to throw to, a running game does him no good. No tight ends can do him any good either, because they keep letting them go. Dennis Pitta, I'm sorry, you can't get rid of your talent and then expect to draft guys in and expect these guys to grow up so fast.
Okay, now I'll be brief in my analysis before we get to UB Austin. I think they're fine. I mean, we have the Bengals to worry about because the Bengals are a well-rounded team as well. But I think
most talented team in the NFL.
Yeah, I've heard. What coach said that?
I said that last year.
No, you said that, but I heard a coach has recently said that. I
think it was Jim Harbaugh, actually.
No, it was. It definitely was. He said they're the most talented team in the league.
Or John Harbaugh. I'm sorry, John Harbaugh.
One of them damn Harbaughs. Whoever's in the league. It was one of them damn Harbaughs. But my point is this. The Ravens will be fine. I think they're a well-rounded team, offense, defense, and special teams. Now, the one place they are struggling is they definitely need a weapon to help out Steve Smith. It's amazing what he's doing at his age. They need a weapon to help him out. But I think they can get it together. They still have a lot of talent on that team. Joe Flacco. Then again, Joe Flacco got that nice big check, and he ain't been the same since. But we'll see. So we'll see what happens. He might not even be hungry no more. Joe Flacco might be like, look, I
got a bowl. I got a chip.
He came from Delaware, so he's already overachieved in the grand scheme of things. He's probably like, look, I got a chip. I got a check. Like, what else is there for me to do? Like, I can
Jay Cutler. I can Jay Cutler the rest of the way.
He overachieved.
Don't get no itches.
He overachieved at this point. B. Austin, what's your opinion of the Ravens?
I picked them to beat the Bengals, who will end up with a better record than them and a better season. But I think out of pride they'll ball. The Ravens offense, like I had the game plan is out on them. Load the box, double Smith, and we'll live with whoever covering single on the outside on whoever that is, that no name that'll be over there across from Smith. And it's working. But I think that there are things you can do to loosen that up and pause and get some success. So we'll see. Defensively, yeah, Jimmy Smith and Ladarius Webb are quality corners. The way the game is played today, their back line is real suspect. Their safeties are not good.
No more Darian Stewart.
Yeah, their safeties are not good at all, and they need improvement there. D-line is struggling, so a lot rests on the offense and them figuring out how to score points, because I don't have them stopping a lot of people. I still see them as a winning team. Maybe they should put the call into Terrell Owens or Randy Moss or Reggie Wayne. Yeah, I mean, guys are out there.
We don't put Reggie. We don't put Reggie Wayne in almost every team that's struggling right now. Everybody
except the Patriots because he couldn't handle it.
I said struggling, man. Y'all 2-0. Cut it out, man.
Oh, he couldn't handle it.
Cut it out. B. Austin, staying with you, right? And we want to talk about this last team here before we get out of here, and that is the Seattle Seahawks. I know you had some strong thoughts on Seattle. You think that they may be in serious trouble?
Yeah, the issue in Seattle. So I would ask you to ask yourself in watching. Come on, now if you can't drink Coke in the shot, they didn't pay us. They didn't cut the check. Seattle, ask yourself, when have they ever scored a lot of points in the Pete Carroll era? Are they a point-scoring team? Okay, so now you've got issues on defense based on some would say one player, which is Cam Chancellor. I actually would say two positions. They are starting Kerry Williams. Kerry Williams is a middle-of-the-road corner. Not bad, not terrible. But he's certainly not
be on the outside either. He should be on the inside.
He's too big. He's 6'1", so he can't play inside. So you got problems there, and you're missing Cam Chancellor, and it's shown up on film. So now defensively you're not stopping people, and you're talking about a team that usually wins with 21 to 23 points. Now, can you ask them realistically to score 30, 34 now? You can't.
Russell's not that kind of guy.
So Russell's not that kind of guy. His passing attempts last year averaged 17. He had 17 passing attempts. Again, you don't score 30 to 34 points only passing the ball 17 times. So now you're asking the offense to get out of character to cover over for a defense that is struggling. And how do you welcome Cam back, who probably has stayed in good shape, but he's still held out for 54 days. So it's going to take him 2 or 3 games to catch up. He's working with new personnel. He's got to get acclimated to bum-ass Kerry Williams. It's more of a challenge to me than I think people will let on, because Doug Baldwin-Hills and Curse and those guys, they're decent receivers. They're not bad, but they're not scaring anyone. You're scared by 1, maybe 2 players on offense, and that's
Jimmy Graham, and they're not using him.
I wouldn't say him yet. Beast Mode and Russell. Jimmy Graham is angry because they're asking him to block, and he's not a blocker. Jimmy Graham said, "Look, I'm a light-skinned brother from the '80s, and I'm used to catching passes. I'm not really about this get down, put my hand down, and block. I'm a receiver. I'm just big I'm big boned. Big boned.
He wants receiver money. That's why he went there.
Once wide out, y'all split me out. Now y'all asking me to block. So he's not really a threat yet because he hasn't worked himself in. So that's the story with Seattle, man. Yeah. I think they can turn it around, but they're in trouble. They're in more trouble because of the way they play and the system that they've implemented. It's not based on them scoring a lot of points. And when you can't stop someone, got to score a lot of points.
Got you.
Can they do it?
Fred, what you think about Seattle?
A locker room divided, a coach that may not have the respect because he said, I'm washing my hands of this. I don't want anything to do with this. Russell Wilson, really, from what I've seen, it's the zone read game. It's okay, but Russell has been creating with his feet, but you can't expect him to do that every play, all 16 games this season. You can't expect that. You can't expect them to literally. Richard Sherman in that secondary can't do it all. Bruce Irvin, where are you? Where are you, sir? You want a contract, or do you? Do you want to go to Atlanta like you said you did? Marshawn Lynch, I mean, wearing 31 in practice isn't gonna. I need to see beast mode. I don't want to see Cam. I want to see beast mode in games. I haven't seen beast mode in games because you're upset that your best friend / well, never mind. Isn't in the game with you. So you guys need to get that together first. Pete Carroll, I need you to know when to run and when to pass. This is the second time you've done this. You couldn't get it right the first time against New England. Thank you very much. You couldn't get it right the second time against the Rams. Thank you very much. And your defense decided to fall to pieces against Green Bay, which you had against the ropes kind of at the end.
Green Bay is playing with God, though.
I mean, there is no more.
You understand, Fred, why the Pope came to America? It was to bless Aaron Rodgers, man.
You know, it's to be blessed by Aaron Rodgers.
True.
There is no more Dan Quinn in Seattle. He resides in Atlanta now. Atlanta's defense looks very good, and they're getting out of games in some magical form. So the Legion of Boom, you might want to tell your defensive line to go get somebody's quarterback. Maybe, just maybe. And your secondary might want to cover somebody. Kerry Williams, I need you to do better. Brandon Browner was a call away. You chose not to bring him back. New England didn't want him, but I'm just saying. That's it. It can't be. It's on both sides of the ball, though. You have the defense feeds off the offense. If the offense can't sustain drives, then there's no point in the defense being even out there. They're no longer the Legion of Boom. They're just the Legion.
I think that Seattle also is also early. I think they'll be okay. They get Cam Chancellor back in the mix. I think they definitely have to find a way to get Jimmy Graham involved. He's such a weapon, and he's such a weapon that he's not being used. It's kind of like mind-boggling. Let's spread him out and throw it up, for Christ's sakes. Like, really.
It's like us not using Gronk, huh?
Yeah, and
Go figure.
Do you realize how many times he finds a way to talk about the Patriots? Yeah. And they are not even the topic of discussion on the
Gronk's
show.
Not better than Jimmy Graham.
He finds a way that's a nice verses, by the way. But all I'm saying is, he finds a way to bring it about the Patriots. Like, could have got Brandon Browner. The Patriots didn't want him. We're not talking about the Patriots, Fred. Anyway, my point is I think Seattle will be fine. There's a lot of season left to play. They did start 0-2, which is surprising. Their division isn't the NFC least, so they definitely have to get it together right away. But, I mean, with all the stuff that we're talking about, Pete Carroll, like, this is still the Seahawks who've had back-to-back Super Bowl appearances. Like,
real quick,
the Seahawks stink for the most part, like, overall, historically. But
Carson Palmer is really healthy, they could write that division off, because Cardinals –
and Larry looks good.
Now, I hear both of you saying, but do any one of you believe Carson Palmer is going to play 16 games? Either one of you?
I put more money on him playing 16 than the Bull in Philly, my starting quarterback playing 16.
I mean, that ain't really saying much, though. Right, you think he's going to play 16 games?
That's rough.
Exactly. The fact that
I think he's going to play 13. I think he's going to play 13.
Well, I was going to say 11, but 11 to 13, yeah.
Listen, both of your responses speak volumes, man.
No. I said 13, and he'll be starting at the end of the season, meaning any injury will be in the middle of the road. I haven't won it. He's going to start 13 games and be their starter in the playoffs.
Okay, we shall see. Only time will tell. I don't even know about that. Like, I don't have faith in that either. Because one thing I noticed about the league these days, people are trying to knock quarterbacks out. They can say what they want to, but it's obvious to me.
They aiming for knees now.
Cats are aiming for knees. Cats are taking 15-yard penalties intentionally. They're trying to knock these quarterbacks out. So I don't see Carson making it, man. The NFL has a problem on his hands. Now, a couple games I definitely want to get to. One is the Falcons at the Cowboys. The Cowboys have had injuries. I'll start this off. I'm taking which could be considered an upset. I'm taking the Cowboys. That's right, the Cowboys without Romo, without Dez. I'm taking the Cowboys in the upset special.
You tripping.
I think the first game without Romo, what's going to happen is, here he go. I think Brandon Wheaton is going to play out of his mind. They're going to play at home and feed off the crowd. And then I think after this, they're in trouble because he's going to realize, I'm Brandon Wheaton. Why did I play like that last week? And he's going to realize that, and the rest of the season is done. But I think this 1 week, he's going to do well. Fred, who you got?
I'm going to go with you. I just think it's not going to be Brandon Wheaton going forward. It'll be one game of Brandon Wheaton doing well. And then it'll be the Matt Castle show until Tony Romo decides to, get his shoulder right and Dez Bryant can come back. Hopefully if Dez Bryant comes back first, it won't be just an 8-8 season, but that, like I told someone else, 8-8 might win that division.
Yeah, that's true too. B. Austin, who you got?
Give me the Falcons. The Cowboys defense is improved, but they don't got nothing with Julio and the other dude on the other side.
Roddy White.
Roddy White. because what happens now is Julio is beating double teams, and they're rolling coverage to his side, and Roddy White is still a high quality receiver, so single coverage.
No, he's not.
Roddy White is still Roddy White is
average at best now.
Roddy's a guy now. He's just a guy.
Roddy's still good. Roddy's still good for 7 receptions.
Roddy is James
yards.
Thrash right now, man. Cut it out.
Don't do that. Don't do that. So I and then you got the running attack. Matty Ice is playing like trash, but it hasn't hindered them yet. Their defense is
much better.
Oh my God!
Now, hold on. Now, I do want to put things in perspective for you. We're talking about a Falcons team who's beating the Eagles, right, and who's beating the Giants. So they're beating up on the NFC East. The Cowboys are in the NFC East. So even if the Falcons wins this game, that means they're 3-0 against the NFC East. Let's see what happens to these Falcons when they have to go outside the NFC East to play a game. We'll see what they're really made of at that point.
You can't go. You're not going to find it in division because that division is bad. Drew Brees is,
the Falcons might go. The Falcons might go like 13 wins just based on the schedule.
Exactly. Cam Newton is the only, and even Cam doesn't have.
Cam what?
Cam and who? Exactly. There is no one else. So good luck with that. Good luck with that. I was
saying Cam is garbage.
Cam is a decent quarterback, but he can't do it by himself.
Decent.
All right. Here's the last game I want to get to before we get out of here, Fred. I'm going to start with you. This is the Monday night special. The Kansas City Chiefs versus the Green Bay Packers and their starting quarterback, the God, Aaron Rodgers. Who do you have winning this game, Fred?
Man, do we even have to discuss this?
I don't know. What you think?
Aaron Rodgers is going to throw up 28 points on them before they know it.
Damn. So you got the Packers winning big.
The Packers, it's not even a question. Unless the Packers are actually facing the New England Patriots, which they possibly will in the Super Bowl, that's the only time they will be challenged.
You see this beat off? Fred, come on, man. Yo, all I'm saying is
Packers
this.
are rejuvenated. I'm sorry. That team is they're the best. They're the other best team in the league.
All I'm saying is this right now. Andy Reid's arms are too short to box with God. I'm taking the Packers at home. I'm taking the God Aaron Rodgers. B. Austin, what's your thoughts on this game?
You've been patiently waiting. Yeah. Kansas City, you got a chance. Alex, show him. Show him, Alex. Show him, Alex.
You taking the Chiefs on the road on Monday night in Green Bay?
I'm taking the Chiefs on the road on Monday night in Green Bay.
You do know they lost at home against the Broncos and their terrible offense, right?
No, the Broncos don't have it. The Broncos don't have a terrible offense. They got a very good offense with a weak offensive line. So if you want to say the offensive line,
they lost against that offense. What do you think is going to happen when Aaron Rodgers starts moving around and doing your cha-cha slide and he
got it. He got it. I think you get too impressed with individual athletes, Fred, because you're disrespecting Justin Houston and Tamba Hali, which is cool.
No, those two are good. They're great. They're great players. But
Eric Berry is one of those guys that hits you so hard. Even if you're getting millions of dollars, you can front if you want to.
He doesn't care.
That. You think about that hit.
Eric Berry ran Tebow over. I remember.
And Peters is going to be that dude on the corner. He's going to be that dude. Yes, it might not show up on Monday night, this game, but that defense is special. That defense is special.
They have a good defense. They do have a good
defense. Is special. Jamal Charles is not going to fumble 3 times versus Green Bay, and Jamal Charles is special. And Kelsey, who's covering Kelsey? Talk to me about Kelsey. Talk to me about Kelsey.
Listen, I hear everything you're saying. I just cannot go against football's Papel. I can't go against the God.
I understand.
Green Bay. Who am I to pick against the God, man? I can't do it, man.
I understand.
Jimmy, what's the 2 rules? on the home team and don't go against the better quarterback.
Yeah, that's true.
And we got and the Packers right now have both of those.
Give me Austin credit. He's going out on a limb. He's taking the Chiefs, man. But with that being said, man, this has been another episode of Field Vision. For those who are still with us, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, share it with your friends, and tell your friends to share it with their friends. You know what I'm saying?
Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend.
And if you're a young lady, we can be friends. Anyway, listen, share this video. You can listen to the audio version on the War Room Sports Podcast Network as well as our SoundCloud page, soundcloud.com/warroomsports. You know, if you're watching the video, share this, share the audio version. Just keep sharing it. You can catch everything we do on warroomsports.com, our whole podcast network, any videos we do, any blogs we write. All the media we put out can be found at warroomsports.com. For Fred Perdue, for B. Austin, this is Jimmy. And as we always say, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance, and we'll see you chumps on top.
Shout out to the Sports Kings. They on vacation.
No doubt.
Kuwait is the war room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys diversified and educated.